All right, let's just jump right in. Right now, the very idea of money, what it is, who's in charge of it, and how we actually use it is going through a massive, historic shakeup. And I'm not just talking about a small upgrade here. We're talking about a complete rewrite of the financial rulebook. And at the absolute center of all this change is one huge question. After being the undisputed king for decades, is the US dollar's time at the top over? Well, the answer is a little more complicated than you might think. You see, what's happening isn't just a simple decline of one thing and the rise of another. It's a full-on global three-way race to define what our financial future is even going to look like. So in this explainer, we're going to break down the three main competitors fighting for control. First up, you've got the establishment itself, governments. And they are not just sitting on the sidelines watching this revolution happen. No way. They're jumping right into the ring, actively building their own version of digital cash. It's called a central bank digital currency, or a CBDC for short. Put simply, it's the official digital version of a country's money, like a digital dollar or a digital euro, but it's issued and guaranteed directly by the central bank. And listen, this isn't some far-off futuristic idea. It's happening right now. The sheer scale of this is kind of staggering. I mean, look at this list. China and Nigeria already have CBDCs that are live. And you've got the Euro area, the US, India, Brazil, all the major economies are in this race. So, what's the deal? Why is everyone doing this? Well, their motives are pretty clear. They want to make payments faster and cheaper, bring more people into the financial system, and let's be honest, a huge part of it is about maintaining control, right? They see the rise of private currencies like Bitcoin, and they want to counter that challenge to their authority. Just to give you a sense of how big this is, we're talking about over 130 countries that are now looking into a CBDC. Sure, only a handful are fully launched, but dozens more are already in pilot or development phases. The main takeaway here? Pretty much every central bank on the planet is taking this very, very seriously. Okay, so that's the government's play. But what about competitor number two? Well, these are the insurgents, the challengers. We're talking about the world of private cryptocurrency and decentralized finance, and they are offering up a totally radical alternative. And this quote right here, it just perfectly sums up their whole mindset. The crypto world sees the traditional financial system as a banking cartel, and they believe their technology can just smash through those old gates and build something completely new from the ground up. You can really see the fundamental split here. CBDCs are centralized, controlled by the state, and you need permission to play. Crypto, on the other hand, is all about being decentralized and permissionless. You know, one wants to give the old system a shiny new upgrade, the other, it wants to tear it all down and replace the whole thing. Their big vision is to create a system that completely bypasses the slow, clunky, and expensive banking system we have today. The idea is to use things like stablecoins and other assets like XRP to make payments happen instantly, anywhere in the world. They're trying to build a brand new set of financial rails, and they're betting it's a multi-trillion-dollar revolution in the making. So you have the governments on one side and the crypto insurgents on the other, but this whole race isn't happening in a vacuum. The racetrack itself is actually changing right under their feet. And that brings us to the third major force at play, the slow but very real erosion of the US dollar's dominance around the globe. Get this. This number from JP Morgan shows the dollar's share of the world's central bank reserves has dropped to 58%. That is a 20-year low. It's a huge signal that other countries are starting to hedge their bets and slowly move away from relying so heavily on the dollar. A lot of this is because the world itself is changing. Major geopolitical shifts are creating a more multipolar financial world. It's just not a given that the dollar is the only game in town anymore. Currencies like the euro and even the Chinese yuan are becoming much bigger players on the global stage. And this trend, it's got a name, de-dollarization. And it's not just happening in those bank reserves. We're seeing it in other key areas too. More and more commodities are being traded in other currencies, and we're seeing fewer foreign governments buying up US debt. And as JP Morgan's head of commodities points out here, this is especially true in the energy markets. Thanks to things like sanctions and new strategic alliances, countries like Russia, China, and India are actively trading oil and other resources in their own currencies, completely bypassing the dollar system. So, okay, CBDCs, crypto, de-dollarization. This is all pretty high-level global stuff, right? What does it actually mean for you, for me, for our everyday lives?
This is the finish line. Why should you even care about this race for the future of money?
Well, the main thing to understand is that this whole new world of money comes with some major trade-offs. On the one hand, the tech promises amazing benefits. Think faster, cheaper payments, and more people getting access to financial services. But, on the other hand, it opens up some huge new risks. We're talking everything from massive cyber attacks to a serious lack of privacy and the potential for government surveillance.
Ultimately, the entire future of money really hinges on this, finding the right balance between embracing all this powerful new innovation and managing the very real dangers that come with it. It's a super delicate dance between progress and stability.
So who wins the race? The most likely outcome isn't one single victor. Instead, we're probably heading towards a much more complex kind of hybrid system, where government digital currencies, private crypto assets, and maybe even good old-fashioned cash all manage to coexist. Which leaves us with the final and most critical question of all. The rules for the future of money are being written as we speak. The big unknown is whether the final chapter will be a story of more financial freedom for all of us or more centralized control for the institutions at the top.